This is Outdated, and welcome to episode 8 of Outdated Reviews. Today we're going to look at Delta Green Need to Know. It is the jumpstart rules for the Delta Green role-playing game. So before we get into this quick dip into absolute terror, let's have a word from our sponsors. Wow. I don't know about you, but I've got to buy that product right now. Right now. That whole thing about shoving it in a bodily orifice, though, I'm not so sure. But either way, let's go ahead and get to it, because as you probably could tell there, I don't have sponsors. Also, I didn't get this for free. It's my book. I bought it. It's not a review copy. So, let's get into Delta Green Need to Know. So, I reviewed previously the Delta Green Agent's Handbook. I gave it a really strong score. I absolutely think that it is a fantastic game if you are willing to play a game like that where your characters are probably going to die, but you're exploring this really horrific world and stuff, right? I've looked on this channel so far at core rulebooks, including all-in-one solutions or individual piece, like say the Player's Handbook is an individual piece of an all-in-one, like you need multiple books to do that one. All-in-ones would be like the Cyberpunk Red review. I've looked at starter sets, and I have different criteria for what I look for in a starter set. This is the first quick start guide. So what do I expect in a quick start guide? I'm going to be honest with you, it's very similar to the starter set. One, I need an adventure. An adventure that is reasonably straightforward, to the point, that I can get into right away, but also has the feel of the game as it needs to be played. Okay? 2, I need pre-gen characters to play it with. And 3, I need a really quick and dirty version of the rules. Not even the level of quick and dirty as the starter set. More quick and dirty, more than likely. Now, if I get something more than these things, that's great. But if I have these 3 things, it's got to get a 7. That's passing, right? So first off, let's take a look at this book, which I want to say it's print on demand, but it also was packaged with the handler's screen back in the day, but the handler's screen itself has been out of print for a very long time, so I think this is actually print on demand. So let's take a look on the back. Welcome to the Apocalypse. Born of the U.S. government's 1928 raid on the degenerate coastal town of Innsmouth, Massachusetts, the covert agency known as Delta Green spent 4 decades opposing the forces of darkness with honor, but without glory. Stripped of sanction after a disastrous 1969 operation in Cambodia, Delta Green's leaders made a secret pact to continue their work without authority, without support, and without fear. Delta Green agents slipped through the system, manipulating the federal bureaucracy while pushing the darkness back for another day, but often at a shattering personal cost. In Delta Green, the role-playing game, you are one of those agents. You're the one they call when unnatural horrors seep into the world. You fight to keep cosmic evil from claiming human lives and sanity. You conspire to cover it all up so no one else must see what you've seen or learn the terrible truths you've discovered. Delta Green Need to Know includes everything you need to play Delta Green. Complete rules for conducting investigations, overcoming crises, fighting for your life, and watching for your sanity slip away. Complete rules for character creation. Whoa, didn't see that coming. 6 characters ready to play. A Delta Green operation, last things last, ready for the handler, the game moderator, to introduce your team to Delta Green tonight. And something that was redacted, I love that they do that. And this is only the beginning. Deeper terrors can be found in Delta Green, the role-playing game, and its source books available from Arc Dream Publishing. Okay, so, and that's where this is from, Arc Dream Publishing. So this art on the front, I believe, was done by Dennis Detweiler, or Detwiller. I'm not sure how to say his name. When I see it, I want to say Detweiler, but I've heard that others say it differently. So here's Delta Green Need to Know. So first off, it's soft back, perfect bound. You've got a little bit of a spine. The spine does not have writing on it. but it is softback, so you're not gonna have a ribbon or any of that stuff. I love that the background here looks like burnt paper a little bit. So we get in, and here's our open gaming license, table of contents. Welcome to Delta Green, and here's where this is your obligatory what is a role-playing game section. This is the what you need section, including rolling dice. You basically need percentage dice. That's it. How to be a player, it breaks that down. How to be the handler, some examples of play. Sometimes examples of play sections are just amazing, and they make the rules like click into place. In some cases, it's because the rules are kind of complicated, and it makes the rules make a lot more sense, so that once you play it yourself, it helps. Sometimes the examples of play don't help at all, right? I have to say this one's a very good one. I think it helped the rules click into place. It's probably the best one that I've seen for a while. What is an agent? So it's going to break down the character sheet. There's your character sheet. Looks like a government document, doesn't it? Restricted, right? That's awesome. Talks about your character having bonds, like people outside of the program or in your life to keep you sane, and how those relationships will degrade as you see and deal with more stuff. It goes into creating an agent. So I said one of my requirements was having pre-gens to play. This allows me to create my own character. That's way above and beyond what a quick start should do. But it does break down rules on how to do that, including some character backgrounds. Decent bit of them, actually. Now we get into some sample characters. Look at this. So we've got both. So we've got our rules breakdown, and this is a fantastic rules breakdown. Incredibly short, incredibly to the point. Honestly, if you just read this rules breakdown and applied it to any basic role-playing system, you probably have 80% of the system down. And this is only a few pages, right? Here's all our pre-gens, which is, like a fourth of the book? A fifth of the book? That's amazing. Here we have the game system in detail, okay? Which more or less acts as a how to run it kind of a thing. Goes into combat, damage and death. I love how they're information on one page. Like, everything about sanity is here. Everything about insanity is here, right? I love that. How to preserve sanity, here. Willpower and what it means. Bonding with Delta Green agents, home. Now we're getting into other things. Here's our adventure, last things last. I'm not going to spend a lot of time here. I'm going to try to skip through it, but I will say this. It's a really good adventure, and I will be doing a review of it, and it definitely gets across what Delta Green is trying to do. You got handouts in the back for that adventure, but like this thing does a great job of setting the tone. Let me see if I can get that to show up. That picture looks all innocent until you realize that her eyes have been scratched out. Like, what did she see that made her feel like she needed to do that? Some of the images in here are so good and evocative, and some of them you're like, well, I'm not sure really what that's there. It's kind of like just a kind of a stock photo kind of thing. But some of these images are really, really good. I think you get most of the really good ones in the play channel. Like, these are kind of just stock. Hey, look, let's picture a dude, okay? Look, gun, right? But here's a good one. The darkness in that room, but the eyes, that's kind of creepy, right? And this, with the light reflecting in. I don't know if you can see it on there, but you can see her skull right there. That's a good example. So, this is going to be probably my fastest review ever. But Delta Green need to know. Does it give me rules? Yes. And it is really well done. Really succinct, to the point. Does it give me pre-gen characters? Yes. It goes above and beyond that. It gives me the ability to make my own characters. And since this is not a level-based and class-based game, it is a skill-based game. Once you know how to advance, which is very simple, like with the rules of advancement are very simple, this is all you technically need, right? I mean, you might want like a couple of example adventures besides this one, but there's a couple of those online for free somewhere. Does it contain an adventure? Yes. Last things last, and I will say it is a great introductory adventure. It is a very, very exceptional introductory adventure that I will review at some point in the future, but it is a really neat way to introduce players to what they're dealing with. So, what do I do with this thing? I have to give it a score of 0 to 10. Delta Green need to know. As far as a quick start rules goes, this is a perfect 10. This is definitely a 10. So I paid to have this, like custom bound and sent, and I want to say it was $10. Now the PDF is free. I would grab that on DriveThruRPG or Arc Dream Publishing's website, whatever. But this is fantastic. It's one of the best quick starts I have ever seen. I recommend it highly. I mean, everything about this package is fantastic. The little quibble about some of the art being kind of like just stock images, to be honest, these were from some of the books. It makes sense. Most people aren't going to do fresh new art for a quick start guide. They're going to use the same art they're going to use in their books, right? So this is a 10 out of 10. Highly recommended. So, especially if you have players that don't mind their characters going insane, dying, or shooting each other. You need to play this game. You need to pick up this. If nothing else, get this. Try it with your friends. See if you like it. So I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, please like and subscribe. Hit that notification bell if you're interested. And I will see you on the next Outdated Reviews. Peace.